Welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone. Guys, it's your boy, Nice193 with another Nintendo Power Zone unboxing Vault Edition. That's right guys, we're going back into the vault, and today we're going to bring you the Hasbro Pikachu, the electronic Pikachu from 1998. This is a vintage Pokemon toy, and this is one of my absolute favorite Pikachu figures. It's done in the original art style that Pikachu had when the game was first released back in 1996 in Japan. So it is a very retro style Pikachu, which I love. I absolutely adore the fact that we're looking at a great classic Pikachu figure, because Pikachu has changed a lot over the years. He's gotten a lot more slender and a lot less mouse-like. Now, he still does look like Pikachu in every iteration, but this is the classic version. This is the original way that we had seen Pikachu back in the day. So super excited to go ahead and get into this review. Now guys, you might notice that I actually have two of these. I got one of these from my fiance and another one from my younger brother. So very awesome that they both thought about me in that way. I actually used to have this figure back when it was first released in 1998. And I don't know what happened to it. I've moved around a lot since back then, so it's only natural that things kind of get lost when you move. But that being said, I'm actually really happy to have these back in my collection, because Pokemon has never been hotter, and I mean never been hotter. 2016 was the best year for Pokemon since like 1998-99. So yes, glad these were found, glad they're in my collection. And guys, before we even go ahead and start looking at the box, let's do a little bit of background on these figures. These figures were released by Hasbro in 1998, but they were released by Takara Tomy back in 1996 or 97. And when Hasbro got the license to the Pokemon franchise, they basically took a lot of those molds from Takara Tomy and just redid everything and repackaged it to fit a more Americanized audience. So right here on the screen, I'm going to be flashing an image of the original Japanese packaging, because I think it's really important to see how they packaged it in Japan when it first came out. And guys, after I show you this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to review the figure itself, starting with the box. So don't go anywhere. So taking a look at the front of the box, it is a very nice open window display packaging. So you see Pikachu in the box, and you see a little bit of differences between this Pikachu and the Pikachu of today. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So up in the left hand corner, you have your recommended ages, so it's for ages 4 and up. Then you have your numbering on the other side. I don't know what specifically that number stands for, but it doesn't really matter. Right under that, you have Ash in his throwing position, and then you see the Pokemon logo with the "Gotta Catch 'Em All" slogan. Right under that, you see the number 25 and Pikachu, and over on the right corner of the box it says electronic voice and light up cheeks. So let's go ahead and turn the box over to its side and take a look at it over there, okay? Moving on to the side of the box, it's really plain on this side, but you do have the Pokemon Gotta Catch 'Em All logo. You get a better look at the Pikachu from the side angle, but there's nothing else going on here, so we might as well just turn it over and take a look at the back of the box now. Alright, so here's the back of the box, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot going on back here. So again, we have the Pokemon Gotta Catch 'Em All logo. You have your instructions there. Over on the other side of the box, it says become a Pokemon Master, collect them all. You see that in this series there was Charmander, Pikachu, and Meowth. It's a nice little selection of Pokemon that you should recognize from the anime. So very good idea to market these specific figures, because they are very popular characters, especially in that original generation. Alright guys, right under that you have your proof of purchase. Those used to be really big in the 90s. You used to be able to do a lot of things with proof of purchases with other figures like Ninja Turtles. Not really important for the Pokemon figures. But over to the left of that, you have something that you don't really see on Pokemon merchandising anymore, and that's Nintendo's official seal of quality. You no longer see that on Pokemon merchandise, so it's kind of important that you see it here. It looks like when Pokemon first came out, Nintendo was a lot more active in making sure that they had a lot more control of how the licensees dealt with the Pokemon franchise. And that's important to note, simply because Nintendo has actually kind of backed off on the Pokemon company and its licensees giving the Pokemon Company a lot more autonomy in how to handle the franchise in their own way. That's why we have apps like Pokemon Duel and Pokemon Go that have very little influence by Nintendo. Now, looking at the rest of the box, the only other thing of note is the Hasbro logo, which has undergone some changes in recent years, so it doesn't quite look like that. And Hasbro no longer has a license to the Pokemon Company. For a while they had gone over to Jakks Pacifics, and then they transferred back to Takara Tomy, who is now producing them under the Tomy name. Okay, so here's the last side of the box. Again, you get a nice view of Pikachu from the side, but there's really not a lot going on here other than the Pokemon Gotta Catch 'em All logo. So guys, it's time to get this bad boy unboxed, and let's take a look at this Pikachu from all angles, and then we're gonna see how it works, alright? Okay, so here it is out of the box, and let's take a look at it. It has been a long time since we've seen Pikachu look anything like this. He's shorter, he's definitely rounder, he's got the white cheeks, well, the white muzzle to be more specific, and it is something that I'm not even used to seeing anymore because we are so far removed from this iteration of Pikachu. It used to be that the way they differentiated the video games from the anime and any other appearance of Pikachu was with the white muzzle, but somewhere around Generation 3 that changed and they stopped distinguishing Pikachu this way. It's kind of a shame. I like the fact that there was, you know, your traditional style Pikachu that you saw in game versus the, you know, more cutesy anime style Pikachu that is pretty much rampant now. So it is very cool to see Pikachu in this way again. It feels like such a throwback. And just look how little and stubby his arms are, while his hind legs are pretty elongated considering that he's standing upright. It's just amazing to see this Pikachu because it's just, like I said, it's been a long time. Recently I've gotten a little bit more used to seeing Pikachu look like this because I have been playing the Virtual Console releases of Yellow and Red. But still, it is incredible to see how much different Pikachu has gotten, and I can't wait to comparison time where I can actually show off the differences between Pikachu. Alright guys, let's go ahead and move over to the side and take a look at it from that angle. Alright, so looking at Pikachu from the side angle, you see how round he really is. Like, he's really round, and the stripes on his back look a lot more elongated than they do in the newer iterations, and they're a lot more pointed at the tips. He's been given softer edges, which is really just a byproduct of, you know, the video games basically just adapting to look more contemporary, to make the original 150 Pokemon look like they are as well designed as some of the newer Pokemon we see right now here in Generation 7. So there's a look at the side. You see the ears, you see the tail, and you see that the tail is a little bit more jagged than, you know, the newer iterations that we're seeing. Again, like I said, this is just the byproduct of the design being altered to fit more with the contemporary style Pokemon. Let's go ahead and take a look at this figure from the back now. Alright, so here's the back of the figure. We get a very nice look at the tail. The tail is a soft vinyl, whereas the rest of the figure is actually a harder plastic. I forgot to mention that this is not like your higher quality plastic. This actually kind of feels like your cheaper plastic, but this figure is actually in amazing condition considering how old it is, and it is second hand. It is in amazing condition. The previous owner did a great job of keeping this thing pretty mint. Under the tail you start to see your logos and whatnot, and right there you have your copyright Nintendo. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Nintendo really made sure to put their stamp all over the Pokemon merchandising back in the day, and it's literally a quality control issue. Again, it's really nice to see them giving the Pokemon Company a lot more autonomy when it comes to how they do things now. One more thing I want to make note of while we're looking at it is there is a speaker right behind Pikachu's tail. So that's where we're going to hear all the cool sounds that this figure makes. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at it from the side, okay? So here's the other side of the Pikachu figure. Not a lot going on here. We don't really have to spend too much time here because I really want to show you the bottom of this particular figure, okay? Alright, so here's the bottom of the figure, and you should take a look at the fact that there are 3 metal pieces here at the bottom. Obviously one being your screw so you can replace the battery, and the 2 at the top are actually how you make this figure do its thing. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna show you what this looks like when it's working. So don't go anywhere. Alright guys, let's go ahead and show you how this Pikachu works. So right there at the bottom, those were the sensors that we showed you. So I don't know exactly how these work, but I think they just work like a circuit, and if you close the circuit, Pikachu starts to talk and his cheeks light up, which is really neat. Now I used to have one of these as a kid. Well, when Pokemon first came out, I was about 16, so I had this when I was about 16 years old, and mine was actually a little bit louder than this one. I'm certain it's because this is an original battery in this thing, which that's a 20-year-old battery almost at this point, so the fact that it works is pretty remarkable. So I'm very impressed by the fact that it works. I did go ahead and open up the other one to see if it worked. Unfortunately, that one has completely dead batteries, and the batteries that you buy for these things are actually pretty expensive, so I am going to have to see about going on Amazon and ordering 2 batteries for these specific units just to see if that makes a difference in their volume quality. But guys, don't go anywhere. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and do comparison time. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we have 3 Pikachus on the table right now. We have the one that we're reviewing right here from 1997, and that's going to be the Hasbro Pikachu. Moving over to the left hand side, we have the Generation 3 Pikachu that we did, and this is a McDonald's exclusive. And over to the right is a Pikachu from Pokemon X and Y. There are a lot of differences between these figures. Now you look at them and you still instantly recognize it's Pikachu, but the thing that I want to make note of is look at how different the body types are between these 3 figures. For the Generation 1 figure, the figure that we're reviewing today by Hasbro, this figure is, like I said, it's stubby, it's fat, the white muzzle, the softer ears, and just in general looks a little bit more mouse-like than any of the other 2. By Generation 3, Pikachu had slendered down a little bit. His model didn't change very much in Gen 2, but by Gen 3, he had slimmed down, quite considerably. It looks like he got on some Weight Watchers. And by Gen 6, Pikachu was at his cutest and most slender, and that's what we're seeing over here on the right side, guys. It is a very different Pikachu, especially when you compare it to that Gen 1 style. It's almost like a completely new character while still somehow maintaining that Pikachu vibe. I definitely think it is very cool to see the evolution of Pikachu throughout the years. So I'm glad I got to do a comparison time like this, because it's really amazing to me to see those differences. Continuing on with comparison time, what I have here are 2 of the more recent figures that are done in this style. This is the Chespin and the Froakie. They are the same style figures, but you can definitely see the evolution of how Takara Tomy continues to make these toys. Now they perform the exact same function as the Pikachu does. You touch the contacts at the bottom and they speak, but these ones are a little bit more advanced. They can say a little bit more. I'm actually keeping them in the box right now because I do plan to give them their own separate unboxing for you guys, because I really want you to see the differences and I want you to see how much more advanced these things have gotten. And on top of that, I really want you to get a good look at how much Pokemon have evolved. Well, to be more specific, how much the art style in the Pokemon games have evolved. Because if you're looking at this Gen 1 Pikachu versus the Chespin and the Froakie, you are seeing that they almost don't look like they're from the same game. You know it's Pokemon, but something just doesn't quite feel right when you look at this style Pikachu standing next to these newer figures from X and Y. I can't wait to do this unboxing, because for real guys, I'm excited to just see how much toys have changed in the last 20 years, and to show you guys how much Pokemon has changed in the last 20 years. So guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and cut, and then we're going to come back with score time. So don't go anywhere. So guys, it is score time, my favorite time. Why? Because I get to tell you whether something is worth your hard-earned money. And guys, these guys are vintage figures. When I first picked up these figures back in 1998 or 99, I remember I paid $10 for these. So back then they weren't too expensive. They were actually pretty fairly priced. Now 20 years later and Pokemon is super hot all over again, and there has been inflation on these figures. They're currently retailing at about $19.99 depending on who you're buying from. There will be people who would charge upward of $19.99, but I happen to get a fair price at $19.99, especially for a figure that's this old. So it's basically doubled in price over the last 20 years. It's not really had a huge increase, but that being said, I got this right before the pop of Pokemon Go, so it wasn't so expensive when I got this again. But I could imagine now that Pokemon has been popping like crazy, this has probably gone up maybe to $25, which is still pretty affordable, and you're getting a really awesome vintage Pikachu figure. This is a must-have for any collection. So guys, as far as this design, I give it a perfect 10 because it truly encapsulates the design of Pikachu from those original games. Yes, it doesn't quite look like the way Pikachu does now, but Pikachu has evolved throughout the years, and not into a Raichu, I might add. There has been a lot of changes in his art style, and I think this art style is the kind that I am the most happy with. This is how I played Pokemon. This is my Pikachu. So it gets a perfect 10 on design. As far as its functionality is concerned, this thing still works. It's a 20-year-old toy, and it's held up remarkably. All I really need to do is replace the batteries on both of these units, and they're going to be working flawlessly. So yes, their functionality is also a perfect 10 because they're not super advanced when it comes to tech, but they don't need to be. The thing does what it's supposed to do. It talks and its cheeks light up. So it gets a perfect 10 as far as its functionality. So guys, we got a 10 for its appearance, a 10 for its functionality. So this bad boy gets a perfect 10. It gets our official Nintendo PowerZone seal of quality. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Nintendo PowerZone Unboxing. Before I let you go, I gotta hit you up with these social media links. You can hit me up on Twitter at nice1983. You can email me at nice1983@gmail.com. Check out the Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo PowerZone, all one word. If you're a fan of the Nintendo PowerZone podcast, you can always catch new episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music. You can stream new episodes on Stitcher Radio, or if you want to watch us live, you can catch us on YouTube. youtube.com/user/the-article, THEARTICLE. And guys, don't forget, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. I have a brand new unboxing video for you. So guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and watch out for amiibo hunters on the prowl. Deuces!